Yes, beta, start Anukriti.
Ma'am,
Shambhavi.
am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Switch on your camera.
Ma'am, actually my laptop camera
Okay,
is
कोई
just
बात
not
नहीं, कोई बात नहीं. You just start, beta. You start. You
okay.
start.
Okay. We shall now begin with the next session for today. Dr. Arvind Pandey is an associate professor for the Department of Statistics and an associate professor and head for the Department of Data Science and Analytics, Central University of Rajasthan. His prime areas of interest are survival analysis, statistical inference, distribution theory, and fertility modeling. Sir has a specialization in various fields such as statistical inference, survival analysis, and computational statistics. He has completed the project work for the computational approach to testing of hypotheses and is currently the part of two ongoing projects, and they are modeling fertility for bivariate survival database on reversed hazard rate and modeling fertility for survival data. Sir has also completed more than 30 publications. With this, may I take the pleasure of requesting Sir to begin with this session on the topic Analysis of Variance, Basics of Design and Experiment.
Okay, thank you.
So a warm welcome to you, sir. Welcome again on the platform, on this online platform. We are having 200 participants with us and students also are there to welcome you. On behalf of the entire Amity fraternity, I would like to extend a warm welcome to you once again, sir. You may please start with the session.
Okay, so most of the students are from the science background.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay,
Some are from management also. Actually, when I was selecting the participants, so I rejected some people thinking that they are from HR or from management, but they started dropping me mails and
no problem, ma'am.
WhatsApps
I just try
that
to
we have
use
to
the minimum
study.
mathematics. So I am using
But
try to minimum
ha,
mathematics.
they have had ample study on R that you have seen the syllabus also.
Yeah.
Shalab sir has means covered a lot of things. You have to start after that, sir.
Madam, it is very difficult to teaching after Salaf sir, because Salaf sir is our teacher, and once he set the
I,
standard, and for us it is very difficult to follow that one. But I will try my best. Okay, but okay, so can I
I
start?
can understand, but you are a tremendous teacher, sir. I know this.
So okay, so I am starting.
So expectations are high, but I know you will give your
I will try
100%
to catch
and
that
everyone will
expectation.
be satisfied. I'm 100% sure, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, so
Yeah, sir, please start.
okay, thank you, ma'am. Presentation. One second, sorry. Open share to
And Radha ma'am, do we have the PPT of the speaker?
Not yet. Arvind, sir, should I share your PPT with the
No,
participants?
no, ma'am. Just 1 minute.
Okay.
Just one.
No, no, the PPT which you have forwarded to me,
No, I
can
just
I
want to
give?
use my. No, I just want to use my PPT.
No, 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 no. You are not getting my point.
You can share. You can share that PPT. No problem.
Yeah, okay. I will do it. I was just waiting for your permission, sir. I'll just do it. Tripathi, sir, please look at the group.
Yeah, you can share that one. No problem. Ma'am, my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very much visible.
Okay, now. So, hello everyone. Now I will going to discuss about the analysis of variance and basic of design of experiments. These two are the very applied portion of the statistics, and it is one of the most useful portions of the statistics for the practical reasons. So why we are put this topic in the syllabus? Main reason is that most of the experimenters are conducting the experiments without the knowledge of the basics assumptions of the statistical tools. So people are using the analysis of variance tools, and design of experiment tools, but they are never bothered about their assumptions or something. So sometimes it happens that someone is coming to us that and they are asking that, sir, please analyze this data. And when they are giving the data and data is giving some another result and which they are expecting, they are not getting that result. So there is a problem. There is a gap between the expectation and the reality. It is not that what they are doing, they are not following the properly the basic assumptions of that design or something. So whenever we are generally suggesting the people don't come to us after conducting the experiment and after collecting the data, you are most welcome to come to us before starting the experiment. We will help you to design the experiment so that all the statistical assumptions can be followed and your data analysis can be fruitful. Okay, so coming to this one, I think all of you are aware about the statistics and definition of the statistics, but I think I never found any particular suitable definition for the statistics. People are using definition of statistics at their own convenience. So today I am using one different form of the definition of the statistics. So I am just basically people are defining the statistics that you are defining to try to define a elephant. Whatever you are getting, you are defining that portion. So I am also try to define the same way today. So whatever I am going to discuss, I am going to define statistics in that way. So what we are saying that statistics is defined as the science of the collecting, analyzing, and drawing the conclusion from the data. Data is usually collected from the sample survey, observational studies, or the experiments. So only ये statistics नहीं है कि सिर्फ data collect किया है, we analyze it and draw some conclusions. No, we are also making the decisions on this one. We are making the forecasting, we are making the planning, and all the things we are using the help of something. These statistics. Some people are defining the statistics that statistics is a collection of the tools, which tools are used to analyze the data, and these tools can be vary from the very simple which can be used by the any social science background to a very sophisticated tools which can be used by the rocket scientists or the space travelers or the medical sciences. So whatever we are going to discuss, these type of things we are going to get the application in the social science, life science, any experiments. Whenever you're going to conduct any experiment, you should know about this one and you have to plan your experiment according to that. So first word I use the sampling survey. So basically sampling survey we are conducting.
Arvind sir, sorry to interrupt you. Your first slide is visible only.
Next नहीं आ रही है?
नहीं.
मैं यहाँ शेयर को एक सेकंड में फिर से शेयर.
नहीं अब आ गई सर, आ गई एंड इसको फुल स्क्रीन कर दीजिए सर.
ये फुल स्क्रीन ही है मैम, मेरे यहाँ फुल स्क्रीन है.
अच्छा आपके यहाँ फुल स्क्रीन है?
हाँ
सर शेयर करिए.
शेयर तो है सर.
शेयर है.
It is shared already, but it is not in full screen.
मैं मेरी स्क्रीन आप मैं इसको क्लोज कर रहा हूँ. मेरी स्क्रीन आपको दिख रही है?
सर आपकी स्क्रीन दिख रही है, आपकी स्लाइड मोड में है.
स्लाइड खुल गई है. स्लाइड को मैंने जो फुल स्क्रीन कर दिया है, अब फुल स्क्रीन स्लाइड दिख रही है. सर्वे सैम्पलिंग सर्वे लिखा हुआ है.
नॉट येट सर.
नो मैम, आप अपने यहाँ से रन कर लो, ठीक है, और मैं जस्ट नेक्स्ट बोल दूंगा तो आप नेक्स्ट कर देना.
एक मिनट रुकिएगा सर. बाकी लोगों को व्हाट इज द पोजीशन एट अदर एंड? मींस हो सकता है मेरा नेट स्लो हो.
नहीं ऑब्जर्वेशनल स्टडीज ऐसे करके.
हाँ ऑब्जर्वेशनल स्टडीज ऑफ एक्सपेरिमेंट्स ऐसे आ रहा है सर.
वो मैम क्या हो रहा है कि उन लोगों के अपने नेट के लिहाज से जा रहे, जैसे अभी मेरे उस पर सैंपल सर्वे है, इसके पहले ऑब्जर्वेशनल स्टडीज था ना, तो वो
ओके. हाँ मेरा नेटवर्क आज स्लो है सर, मेरा नेटवर्क स्लो है.
नेटवर्क डिपेंड कर रहा है. सो मैम ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, स्लाइड सभी के पास है, उस लिहाज से वो देखते रहें, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. ओके
ओके ओके. हाँ.
So now we are coming to the point to the sampling surveys. These sample surveys are basically designed to collect the information from a particular, to answer a particular question or collect the information in a particular manner from a finite population. So there is some finite population, but we cannot go for the whole population. So we are taking the part of that population, collecting the information and analyzing the information and using the information. That is the sample study. Next, we are coming to the observational studies and experiments. So basically, observational studies and experiments, on the other hand, are the normally determine the relationship between the two are more measured quantities in the conceptual population. So means there is some conceptual population or something is there. There is some variables are there, and we try to measure the relationship between those variables. So for measuring those variables, we have to conduct some experiment. Sometimes experiments are possible, sometimes experiments are not possible, but some data is available. We are trying to use that data to get your results. Suppose someone is telling that if we are global warming is related to the greenhouse gases. So there is, it is very difficult to conduct that. I will conduct experiment and get the result. But there is a method that by giving the amount of the green gases, we can, carbon emission, we can conduct about the, get information about the temperature rise or something. Okay. So now this is basically some examples we are telling about this one, that determining the cause of the variation is measured response observed in the past, finding conditions that given rise to the maximum or minimum response, comparing to the response between the effect setting of the control label variables, and obtaining a mathematical model to predict the future response values. So basically what we want to do in these experiments, we have to conduct the experiments. There are several variables, and we want to try to establish a relationship between those variables so that we can control the, see, there is some variables are there, but we can control only few of them. We cannot control each and every variable. So those variables we can control. We can try to find a mathematical structure so that the whatever things we are in which we are interested, that can be calculated or be predicted by using the values which we can control. For that, we are conducting the experiment, making the mathematical expression or formula, and then we are going to that. I think in the last session, Salab sir discussed to you about the correlations. Okay.
Sir, 1 minute, sir. We are still on the fourth slide. Slides are not moving at all.
What is fourth slide?
Observational studies of experiments, studies and experiments.
I am the next slide to fifth one, that one. Ma'am,
sir, if you log out and again log in, that may resolve the problem. Sometimes it happens.
मैं कर लेता हूँ.
Again join the meeting. I mean, log out from the meeting and again join the meeting.
So just leave the meeting.
Sir, you don't have to log out from the meeting. Just unshare the screen. Go to a full screen of the slides, then share the screen again.
Rejoining. I mean, I am visible.
Yes, sir. Visible.
अब मेरी स्लाइड आ रही है, पहला पेज.
It's loading, sir.
मैम ये थोड़ा सा टाइम फेज का डिफरेंस हो जाता है नेट पे.
हाँ सर, आई एग्री.
फर्स्ट स्लाइड आ गई. आप बताते जाना. मैं दिन
मेरे पे तो नहीं आई है. Is anyone able to see?
Yes, sir. Not yet.
आ गई है अभिनव?
No, ma'am, not yet.
Not yet.
मैम यहाँ तो नेट भी काफी अच्छा है.
Sir, you please unshare and share again.
Unshare.
And share again. हाँ, अब आ गई सर. अब आ गई. अब आ गई सर. अब आ गई सर. अब आप सर F5 प्रेस कर दीजिए.
F5 ही है. फुल स्क्रीन हुआ?
नहीं.
मैम मेरे यहाँ होने के काफी देर बाद हो रहा है आपके यहाँ, क्योंकि मेरे यहाँ तुरंत हो जा रहा है, क्योंकि मैं
सर
तुरंत
एक्चुअली सभी के एंड पे नहीं हो रहा है बिकॉज ऑल आर राइटिंग ऑन व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप दैट इट इज नॉट विजिबल, इट इज ऑन, अभी भी फुल स्क्रीन नहीं दिख रहा है, हमें स्लाइड मोड ही दिख रहा है।
1 सेकंड मैम, अभी तो मैंने बाहर कर रखा है। अभी आपको फर्स्ट स्लाइड क्या दिख रही है?
स्टैटिस्टिक्स एंड डेटा कलेक्शन।
अब नेक्स्ट सैम्पलिंग सर्वे।
नहीं अभी मूव नहीं हुआ सर।
मैम जैसे मूव हो जाएगा बता देना। अलाउ मैम, समवन यू आर आस्क्ड द अलाउ टू कंट्रोल।
I am asking.
Yeah.
But I am not able to.
मैम
Arvind, sorry, Abhinav, allow sir. ये कौन है? DP, DM, who are they? Sir, stop control कर दीजिए. Someone else has also requested control.
now is it okay?
No sir. Let me share my slide. But how will I be? Means you have hyperlinks. They will not be clicked.
Don't worry about that one. I will open the file from the here.
Okay,
no
okay.
No problem about that. आप शेयर करो, मैं इससे पढ़ा लूंगा।
हाँ मैं कर रही हूँ। Is it visible now?
Yeah. Make
Yes, ma'am. Now it's
Abhinav, mute yourself. There is a lot of disturbance. Is it visible? Which slide should I come on, sir?
Next. Yeah, just. So
beginning
can I
of statistical planned experiments.
Yeah. Can I take the control from?
Yes.
So
Rashri Mishra is requesting control.
No.
You sir, please request control. Then I will give you allow. Yes, allowed, sir.
Okay. So means I can. Yeah.
Sir, you need to just scroll down. Yeah.
Okay, scroll down.
हाँ, scroll करते जाइए. It will move very easily. Okay.
No. Okay. Sorry for the interruption. So now we can just go ahead. Okay. So now what we have to do, we are willing to try establish a relationship between some controlled variable which can be controlled to a response variable. Suppose you are trying to make a particular product. I am telling you want to make a bread. So suppose if you want to make a bread, there is a time using the same amount of the quantity, same ingredient, you make the things and they're divided into 6 to 10 parts. And those parts you are just putting all of them to a different temperatures. And then you just try to see the status of your bread. So suppose if someone is taking 10 minutes, that bread is up to a particular level. After 20 minutes, another level. So after a particular time, if you increase the time, you are not going to get anything extra. Your bread is going to burn or your bread is going to damage. So you just get a point that where you are getting a maximum size of the bread. But if you use the similar quantity, that every time you are not going to get the same size of the bread by using the same time. So there is a variation. So these variations are known as the having the two parts. One part is known as the random variation, another is known as the assignable variation. So we cannot control the random variation, we can have to minimize it, but other variations we can minimize it, control it. So now we are coming to the next thing. मैम ये नीचे नहीं आ रहा है। So these techniques are which we are going to discuss. These are the basically design of experiments, and most of the things are developed by the Professor R.A. Fisher. He was a basically scientist in the agriculture field, but he developed a lot of statistical results, all the things of the whatever we are discussing nowadays. Most of the things are developed by these people from the beginning, and he provide a very mathematical background on the basis of the experimental experience. So he had an experimental experience, he facing the problem. To solve those problems, he developed a mathematical structures, and those mathematical structures nowadays we are using as a design of experiment tools. So these R.A. Fisher faced some challenges. I am giving the history, what he faced and what motivates him to get these type of solutions. So the challenges of the Fishers faced were the large amount of the variation in the agriculture and the biological experiments that often confuse the results, and the fact that the experiments were time consuming and costly to carry. So when he started servicing in that research institute, he find the problem that people are conducting the experiments for the agriculture by the same type of things. They are using ingredients or fertilizers or seeds or plot, but they are getting a totally different results. And then there is a problem that to conduct these experiments, if someone is willing that no, okay, I will repeat the experiment again and then I will try to find the result and then compare it. So it is not possible because there is time consuming. For the crop they are taking 4 to 5 months and it is a costly. So there is a problem is they have a system that is costly, time consuming, but there is a variation. They have to control the variation and try to optimize the results. So what they did for that challenges, कंट्रोल चल नहीं रहा है. हेलो मैम, अनुराधा मैम, हेलो हेलो अनुराधा मैम, हेलो हेलो मैम.
Yes, sir. Sir.
ये यहाँ से काम नहीं कर रहा है, स्लाइड्स मूव नहीं कर रही हैं.
Okay, sir. Sir, मैं अनुराधा मैम से.
जस्ट आप जरा देख लो. हेलो 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 हाँ, okay. So the motivations is there. They have a problem that they cannot repeat the experiment so much and cost is very high, time is there. So there is some motivation to design some experiments or experiment and techniques that can be used to analyze the data in a much better way. So eliminate what is their problems. They want to eliminate as much of the natural variations as possible. Prevent the unobserved variation from the confusing or biasing the effects being tested, and then delete cause and effect with the minimum amount of the experiment effort necessary. So अब सबसे पहला क्या होता है कि people suppose I just started an experiment and then I put a particular crop in this year and I try to compare the crop to the next year. If I do this one, someone can make the claim that because weather of this year is different, may be different from the weather of the next year. So if weather is different, that is weather is going to affect your product, amount of the product of your crop. So we have to minimize the natural causes first. Second, we have to prevent the unobserved variation from the confusing the bias of the effect of the being tested. So suppose if we are going to test something and there is some hidden variables are there, or it is not there but it is showing that it is there. Sometimes some things are happen that you conduct experiment and you are getting some very confusing results, but actually that result is not happening. I am giving very simple practical example. There was this one survey conducted by the some psychologist and with a collaboration work from the education people, and they are conducted a survey and they are found that those students are giving more time to watching the TV, they are getting the higher marks. If you think the results in a simple way means if you want to get more marks, you should watch more movies. So those students are spending more times on the movies, they are getting more marks. So they are afraid. So what happened? So basically this type of things are happening and your result is confusing. So this is, we are coming to the second portion, because whatever results we are getting, that should not be there. So now then someone is suggested, it's okay, no problem. Do you have a IQ of the students? And then they make a model and try to calculate the marks of the student given the IQ, and then try to establish a relationship between the watching the time and then marks. Then it comes in negatively. Those students are watching more TV, but they are getting less marks. But they are putting the conditional thing of the IQ. So they make an interpretation of the result that those students are having high IQ, they finish their work so early, so they have a lot of time, so they are spending more time on the watching the TV. So there is no relation of the marks and the TV. Okay, so students are not getting higher marks due to they are watching the TVs. So this type of data, always in a real life data, we are getting such type of confusion. We have to physically find out which things are affecting, which cause is affecting your things. So for that one, so this one, and then detect cause and effect and then minimize the amount of the experimental effort necessary. So what he did after that one. Can you change to next one? Next slide, please. This is next. Yeah. So for the design of experiment we are coming, we are design of experiment going to that one. We need, because we are going to use these words very frequently. So we should know the some definitions of these things. Okay. So first we are talking about the experiments. Sorry, dependent variable or the response variable. So mathematics people are very aware, or the most of the people are aware of, if you're defining y as a function of x, so x is independent variable and y is a dependent variable. So we have to define a function. We are also trying to establish here the functional relationship between the response variable and variable to be, sorry, independent variable and to the finally response variable. So now then we are coming to the can it go to next back, next, yeah, just yeah, stop. Yeah, this slide was missed because I'm telling that I'm not getting the continuity. No, yeah. So whenever you start for the experiment, first thing is the experiment. When you want to experiment, sometimes we are calling it a run. So when you are, what is the meaning of experiment? If everything is the same and you are collecting the repeated observation, that is not experiment. If things setup is there, if you are changing some variables and noting the results corresponding to those changes, then it is an experiment. And then there is experimental unit, on which unit you are collecting the, doing the experiment, that is the experimental unit. And there is a concept of subunit or the subsample of the observational unit. So sometimes we are conducting the whole experiment on a particular unit, but we cannot collect the all observations simultaneously. We have to collect the observation unit, subunit by subunit, and then we have to compile them and then average out. Then we can use those data. Okay, so then there is another thing is the independent variable factor of the transient factors. These are the totally independent variables. Suppose I am giving you the very simple examples and illustrating this way because we start from the agriculture background, agriculture example. So we can see, suppose there is some crop is there. So for crop, temperature has a role, humidity has a role, amount of the water received is a role, amount of the fertilizer used, and variety of the seeds. So these things are the independent. None of them is going to depend to the each other. You can control, or these things are varying independently. Okay. Then background variable. Background variable is that it is very difficult to control or something. Suppose there is a fertility of the soil. So if you are doing the experiment, you do all the check, but you cannot make 100% homogeneous plot. So two plots cannot be 100% homogeneous. There may be some hidden variables are there. Those are calling as the background variables, and these variables are affecting your final crop. So now, if there is independent variable, you have the background variable. On combination of both, you are going to get a dependent variable or the response variable. So now, then there is concept of the effect, replication, and duplicate. So we are calling it about the effect. Suppose we are trying to produce something. I have an option that I can put a particular type of fertilizers. I can use the fertilizer as a combination of this one. So this is basically the effect that you are trying to use the fertilizers. So that is going to give you the results. That is going to help to get your results that you want to increase your yield, and that is can be achieved by increasing the amount or combination of the fertilizers. Okay. Then next thing is the replicate. Replicate is that if you are performing any experiment, same type of experiments you want to perform on the similar units. So then that is a replicate. Okay. And then coming to the concept of the duplicate and experimental design, confounding factors, and experimental errors. So experimental design is the whatever we are in a whole we are getting, that is experimental design. Then confounding factors is those factors are clubbed together sometime, and that is not of use of us. Most important thing is the experimental error. Whenever we are conducting the experiment, we calculated the thing, we put the fertilizers in the required amount, we put the water in the required amount, we use the correct weather. So we are expecting that our production should be this much. But there is a variation between the expected value and observed value. So this is called the experimental error. This experimental error is not an error or that is a mistake or something. It is not. It is not a mistake. It is a thing that beyond our control. So we want to explain that. Sometimes it happens that we can get the more the production than whatever we are expecting. We can get the less production. But if you are getting more production or less production, whatever the situation, that is going to be your error. For me, you are not getting that one. That one, that is a, if you get more, even that is error. If you are getting less, that is error. That is another thing. Both are having a different interpretations. Okay. So purpose of the experimental design. So what we want to sorry, ये कहाँ से फिर से आ गया? Yeah. Okay. So we are coming to again. So now our final purpose of the experimental design is observing the state of the nature. What we conduct the experiment, we observe the nature. Then on the basis of that one, we make a conjecture or the hypothesis. That mechanism for what we observed then. So जो कुछ भी हमने observe किया है, for उसके लिए we can make a hypothesis or some conjecture and then collect the data. After collecting the data, we analyze the data and then we accept our conjecture that whatever we make, that is conjecture or hypothesis, that is correct or not. There is word is hypothesis. I think all of you have studied Hypothesis. Hypothesis is basically a statement or assumption about your unknown parameters. Okay, so now coming to that one. So basically, whenever we start the experimental design, we are doing experimental design in this way. First define your objective, then select experimental design, then collect the data, and then model and analyze the data. After analyzing the data, interpret the results, and then on the basis of that one, you make the conclusions. So whatever we are conducting the experiment, whenever you are conducting the experiment, you have to go through these portions, and statisticians are going to help you make in this portion, collecting the data, model for analysis of the data, and analyzing of the data. And then interpretation and conclusion is the maybe vary from physical interpretation is there or mathematical interpretation is there, that can be done by the experimenter. Okay. So now when we start talking about the design of the experiment, so design of experiment is having the roadmap. So basically we are telling that it is a design of experiment roadmap. Suppose if you can you just make a slide slightly big, increase the size. Yeah. Now is it visible to everyone? So for the design purpose, suppose if we are starting the system, if we want to estimate the variance, there is a whole system of the design, come to the variance, do all the things. It can be with one factor, it can be with the multiple factor. These things are used, and we are telling that these things are the for the estimation of the variance. Okay, if we are interested in the study of the effects, effects means whatever factors we are changing on corresponding to those factors, which type of results we are getting. If we are making the changes in the factors and corresponding to that one, what is the effect of that one, we have to estimate. For that we have to go in this way. If we are coming to that way, there is two situations, that your system is totally homogeneous on experimental units or the totally homogeneous, or it may be heterogeneous. But practically it is very rare to get a homogeneous system. Most of the time we are getting the heterogeneous system. But for example, if we go for the homogeneous system, for the CRD is there, then after that this mechanism is there for the different designs are available to analyze and model the data. In our discussion, we will discuss about this CRD only from the homogeneous system. When you come to the heterogeneous system, when you come to the heterogeneous system, we are coming to the block factors. So means why blocks are required. Suppose there is a one heterogeneous system, you just try to divide the whole system into the relative homogeneous blocks or relative homogeneous subunits. Suppose there is a big plot, and that is some fertility gradient to a particular direction. So just cut your plots in such a way that your strips are relatively homogeneous within themselves. That may be heterogeneous to the next strip, but it should be homogeneous within this one. So what we are doing, we are trying to make it as soon as possible as homogeneous. So for that one, there is two systems, so two block factors, one block factor and the two block factor. Then block samples may be large, may be small, so corresponding to that one. In this one, we are going to discuss only the RCB, random RCB system, and then we just go ahead. Now we are coming to the next. This is not required because basically it is a file that's showing that whatever things are, these are the method. It is the abbreviation details are given in that file. You will get that file by the email. Don't worry about that one. Now we are coming to the completely randomized design. Now, so in completely randomized design, before going to the completely randomized design, what we are doing in the design of experiment, what you are doing, we are collecting some units and then try to repeat the experiment on those units and try to do these things totally randomly. Suppose I just show you one example. Just wait a minute. This blank screen is visible. Suppose this is a plot and we have to use this plot for the checking the production of a particular seed or something. So what we did, we just divide the whole plots into this one. So many parts. And suppose there is 9 points. So if we want to use a particular type of things, a particular type of seeds, so what we did, we just distribute these seeds in these blocks randomly. And then suppose I am not knowing from the which seed is put in which blocks. So we just put it randomly. But when we are putting the fertilizers, we are knowing we are putting these fertilizers in this one, or this one. Even that we are going to decide randomly, and then by using this one we can do the randomization, that we are not biased that we are going to put this seed in this corner of the field or this one or middle one or the last one. Very interesting result that there is some people are collected the data of the marks of the students. Those students are the front bench, sitting in the front bench. The students are second in the middle one and the back benchers. And they try to find the relationship between that these students are same or not. And in the different situation, they are getting a different results. In science background, they are getting these 3 groups having a different results with respect to the marks. But when you come into the social background results, they are saying that there is not much difference between the backbenchers and the students sitting in the front. So we come to our again topic, CRD, completely randomized design. With one treatment factor, and experimental units are divided randomly into T groups. Each group is the subject to one of the unique level or values of the treatment factor. So there will be some treatment and there will be a subgroup. So there is a suppose there is a R treatment and T groups. So N is equal to T into R is a multiple of the T. Then each level of the factor will be applied to the R unique experimental units. And if this for corresponding to each group replication R is not same, that can be happen. The R replication to each run that the same level of the treatment factor. Sometimes it is not possible. So even that case you can go ahead. So if T is not a multiple of T, then there will be an unequal number of replicas of the each factor. So that is not a problem. That can be take care of that one. All other known independent variables are held constant so that they will not bias the effect. And the design should be used when there is only one factor under study and the experimental units are homogeneous. So CRD पहली चीज कहाँ apply करनी है? All independent variables are known. There is one line is missing. They should be follow a additive property, and then your experimental units are homogeneous. So I already show you in that pathway that when your system is homogeneous, only then you can go for the completely randomized design. So okay, now so randomization is basic. CRD is basically based on the two concepts, replication and the randomization. Randomization is you are conducting the experiment in the random way. There is no bias. You can do in anything. There is no bias or no pattern. And replication, whatever you are doing it several times. So suppose I am giving a very simple example. Suppose there is a seed and I want to check it. So if I take a production with a particular this fertilizer and I want to check the effect of the fertilizer. So what we will do, I will put the fertilizers or I will not I am not going to put the fertilizers. So what I can do, there is one option, just put the whole field with the same crop and same fertilizers, and the next plot you just put the same seed and no fertilizers, get the results. But there will be a lot of variation and that is not going to be follow the rule of the randomization or nor follow the rule of the replication. So, okay, so now we have the two plots, we combine two plots and divided the two plots into suppose 20 to 40 or 50 groups, 50 equal size group, and then randomly I just put the fertilizers. I know in which block I put the fertilizers, but this allocation should be randomly. So when you want to do this randomly, there is not necessary that you go to the field and you put that I am putting to this one, then to this one. No, that is not going to random. For the randomness, it should be follow the mathematical property of the randomness, and you have to generate the system. Suppose there you have a block, you generate the random sequence from that block and put the things according to that. Okay, so now suppose I am giving this example. So suppose there is a I just want to put some particular factor or something. I am just telling very some beginning example for the bread. I just want to bake my bread for the 35 minutes, 40 minutes and 45 minutes. And I just want to use 12 blocks, means 12 units. So 12 units means each one is going to get the 4 observations. So for the 35, I am going to get the 4. For the 40, I am going to get, and for the 45, I am going to get the 4 observations. For the so means 4 breads are going to bake for the 35 minutes, 4 breads are going to bake for the 40 minutes, and 4 breads are going to be the 45 minutes. So I have totally 12 balls. So, but I don't know which ball is going to bake for the how many minutes. So we have to decide it. So how we can decide it? Just wait a minute. So my screen is visible to everyone. Now this one is yeah. So just you, any one of you, you just copy this one and you just try to run on the your R console, and just I am running this one on the R console. Suppose this one is this one copy, and then this one file new script paste. Okay, so in the starting of the experiment, I just put the seed. If I am putting the seed, everyone will get the same results. If some people want to get the different result, just put hash here. So there will be no use of the seed. So then what I am defining by the F, we are trying to define the factors. These are the 35, 45, sorry, 40 and 45. Each will be replicated for the 4 times. So I am just trying to repeat in the 4 time and then make a sample size of 12 and just see. Just I run it. So first leaf is going for the 45 minutes, second one is going for the 35, third one is goes for 45, fourth one is goes for 35, fifth one is for 35. See, now this one is the result. So now I have to bake first one for the 45 minutes, second one is for the 35 minutes. So there is a randomization, there is no pattern. Suppose if I am telling, okay, now I just going to change it again. Now just check the result. This result is totally different from this result, because I am not using any seed. So because this method and this method is totally different from each other, just decide and make a plan how to you put your control thing in the treatments to the your blocks. So for that you need a random system. For the generation of random system, you are using this one. So just by the randomization, what you did, you are achieving this randomization. From where you are getting the concept of the replication, because for each 35, 40 or 45, everyone is getting the 4 times. So you are repeating every treatment for the 4 times. So you are repeating the treatments. It is there and randomization is also there. Okay. So now, so the sample function randomization is randomize the order of the factor Lewis and Stokes. So yeah, whatever is done in the previous slides, that is explained here. Okay, so you can show this one. Now, so what we did before conducting the experiment, we are in a situation to that which treatment should be goes to the which block we are decided, and that is totally random, and we are repeating one treatment more than one time, so that is a replication. So randomization and replication are both are satisfied here. Okay, so this I am giving an example to you, this one, and most of the book and everything is providing this example. This example is basically one of the historical example used by the R.A. Fisher. What he did, he just providing a mixture of the artificial fertilizers to the plants, and when they are going for this sugar beets, they are planting for the sugar beet, just digging the hole and put the fertilizers and then plant the seeds. So for that experiment, they use similar type of randomization, and he defined the randomization on this one. So what he did, he defined the experimental unit where the plots, he defined the experimental units. So what is the experimental unit in this case? These are the plots of the grounds in the combination with the specific seed to be planted in the grounds. So what is the response or dependent variable? The dependent variable would be the yield of the sugar beets measured in the per acre. Okay, so now we are coming to the factors. I am talking about the factors. So there we have to put the fertilizers, and they are putting the fertilizer with a certain type of weather or something combination. So the independent variables of the interest were the time and the method of applying the mixed artificial fertilizer. So by using, they are making the 4 different labels. So first label is A. So no artificial fertilizer is applied, means there is only seed is there, they are not putting anything. Then they are applied the fertilizers, but in a June by this system, and then again they applied in the January in the broadcast system, and then apply in the April in the broadcast system. So this portion is gives you about the weather, and it is a month and when they are applied. So these portions are having the fertilizers, and before they are not using the fertilizers. So these are the basically 4 treatments. So but just by using these fertilizers, they are trying to get the crops amount. Now we are talking about the recurring variables. Basically these are the totally hidden variables. It is a beyond of our control, but we try to average out that. We are thinking that these sometime it is giving positive, sometime giving negative, and we try to average out. So looking variables that could cause the difference in the sugar beets yields between plots where differences in the fertility of the plots themselves. Pehla reason ye, there is this reason which we are not measuring, difference in the beet seeds used in the each plots. So whatever seeds you are using, every seed is different from the other seed. So that may be that variation, differences among the plots in the level of the weed infestation, and differences in the cultivation practices of the things, the beets, and the hand harvesting of the beet. We put the beet, this one, we put the grain, kahan gira pata nahi. So even that is in which height it is there, how much that can get this one. So these are those things, are those variables which we cannot control or which are beyond our control. We can minimize them. Such type of variables, for us it is very difficult to measure, and they are also affecting our system. So these are the recurring variables for the design of experiment, and sometimes it is called a hidden variables. Okay. So now we are coming to the mathematical model of our design of the experiments. So suppose if you put something, suppose there is some treatment is there. If you put a treatment 1, I'm giving only example of the bread. So those breads are getting the treatment of the 35 minutes. I am expecting they should having similar type of size. Those are getting 40 minutes, they may have a different size, and those having 45 minutes, these are having the different size. So this is the product size that can be defined by the YIJ, the final response, which is the final size of the bread, and that is going to defect of, that is a result from the effect of the, what is the effect of? Effect of the treatment, which effect you are using, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever treatment I am using. And then epsilon ij. Epsilon ij is the error variable. We are using, there is a random variation. So to explain that random variation, we are using this. Okay. So, but coming to the this one. So Yij is defined as mu ij plus epsilon ij, where Yij is the response of the jth experimental unit subject to the each ith level. The treatment factor I is varying from 1 to 3, J is varying from 1 to Ri. Because here I am using Ri because in the beginning, in one place I told that the replications may not be same, so that may be different. So Ri is the number of the experimental units or the replications in the ith level of the treatment factor. So whenever using any treatment factor, replication number not necessarily it should be same, it can be different. Now we are going to explain this portion. This portion is very important. Suppose there is a first treatment. First treatment is having this type of shape, mean. Second treatment is having this type of mean. Third treatment is having this type of mean, and fourth treatment is having this type of mean. So suppose if you are trying to bake bread, you are knowing that whatever the situation, minimum bread size will be this one. So you are knowing that on the average, whatever the situation you're going to make a bread is going to be of this size, minimum. So this is the size of the minimum size. And then there is addition. That additional part is coming from the factor. Which factor you are applied, 35 minutes, 40 minutes or 45 minutes, whatever you are applied, that portion is coming, contributing to the size of. So this mu plus tau I basically is this mu I. So for the ith treatment mean, we can be explained by the this two factor. One factor is the overall mean, and then it is a things coming from the your treatment, and there is a error factor. Okay, now so this structure is called the effect model, and the tau I is called the effect. Tau I represents the difference between the long run average of the all possible experiments at the ith level of the treatment factor and the overall average. So basically this tau I is giving that this mu is the overall average type, and this tau I is basically for the ith factor only what will be the average in the long run. So that contribution is coming from that one. So this is basically two part of the contribution, and it is defined as the effect model. So there, what is the effect? Effect is the Ti. Ti is the effect, and there is a random part is epsilon ij. So just by the whatever result we are getting, Yij is always explained by the three things. First thing is that there is a whole average will be there, then there will be treatment effect, and then there will be the random effect. Okay, and we are assuming that the random effect on the average, when you find the summation of xi, summation of epsilon ij divided by the whole number and whole n, and then that will be going to be the basically 0. So experimental error is going to provide you the 0. So, but when we are going to start these things, we have to follow some assumptions. These assumptions plays a very important role in the designing of the experiments. First thing, this epsilon ij is follow the normal distribution with mean 0 and a certain variance. And this variances, we are assuming that these variances are known. So if these variances are known and the thing, and then we are following this Yij is normally distributed with mean mu plus tau I and with known variance. So this one, so for equal number of replicate the sample mean of the data in the ith level of the treatment factor is represented by next one, this one. Okay, so these two things are the basic assumptions. When we are talking about this model, we have to follow that whatever experimental error is there, that is averaged out. It is on the average. There is a no effect. Whatever the situation, whatever the standards procedures you are using, whatever sophisticated person you are, but there will be experimental error. Sometime that is positive and sometime it is negative. But if you are conduct the experiment so many times, on the average your experimental error will be 0. Okay, so and it is 0, so mean will be 0, and whatever variance is there, we are so telling that we are knowing that variance, that is variance is known, and corresponding to that one you can, that is following the normal distribution. Basically that is the basic main idea. Okay, so now if we have these things, now we have to explain what is the value of mu, yij, tau ij, and how we have to calculate that. Okay, so now we are defining yi dot bar. Yi dot bar is 1 upon ri, summation over j is varying from ri yij. Basically what we are doing, we are taking only those observations for which observations we are using a particular treatment I. When you use ith treatment, means I am just only talking about the 35 minutes. So I am collecting only those data for which time is 35 minutes. So what I am doing, I am taking 35 minutes portion only, 35-minute treatment. So corresponding to that one, I is equal to 35, corresponding to that one. So that portion is mean. So basically corresponding to the ith treatment, what is the respondent mean is there. So now, and grand mean is irrespective of whatever the treatment is there, combine all of them and find their mean. Okay, so it is all values. It is you are summation, doing the summation with respect to the treatment and with respect to the replications, and that gives you the overall mean. Just one minute. Okay, so where n is equal to summation of ri, n is equal to total number of experimental units, that is find from the summation of ri is basically number of replications you are using for the each treatment. So now we are talking about the sum of squares due to the errors. Problem is that suppose if you are baking for the 35 minutes, that from 35 minutes you can get this idea. By using this one, you have some idea that corresponding to this treatment, my mean is this one. Okay, so this mean is should be this one. There is one idea is there, but it is something else. So now you have to take the difference and find the square. So all of you remember about the finding the variance of the mean square error of anything. So you can use any particular number, then summation of xi, and then you use the square of that one, and then you can calculate these things. The similar things we did it here, and we use the method of least square, just solving that one, and after solving we can show that this quantity is an unbiased estimate of mu1. Okay, so that is a mathematical result, and we are going to use that. Okay, so whatever we did and we developed this present model, this model can be written in the form of the matrix. And when we're dealing with a matrix, most of the time dealing the things in the matrix is very easy, because matrix is always looks like it is a very complicated thing. No, matrix is one of the simplest thing, and all of us are using the matrix from our childhood. We are not aware that it is a matrix, but we are using it. Our first matrix which we use in our life, that is your timetable. Timetable is a matrix. I am not talking about the determinants. Matrix is basically just an arrangement of your numbers of the something. So which matrix practically you are using? Totally illiterate person, bus driver, bus conductor, they are using the upper triangular matrix for their fare of the passengers. From this stop to this stop, this will be the fare. If you are coming from this stop going to this stop, this will be the fare. So they are making the upper triangular matrix. So matrix are very useful if you can just 1 or 2 times, just learn to write down and then use it. So whatever I did it here in the previous example, so mathematical structure, I will try to convert in this one. So for the conversion of this one, I am just going to use the example, which example we are using in the previous one. So suppose these are the observations, and corresponding to these, see what y is equal to x prime beta plus epsilon. So those people having an idea about the linear models, they can understand easily that this one, sorry, this structure can be easily converted to the this portion. Y is equal to, yeah, this y is equal to x prime x beta into plus epsilon. So this is basically linear models. You write down your linear models. There is a variation from ij, and you writing. Anyone is asking something? Any questions? Okay, we can take the question afterwards. No, first I will complete it. So suppose those linear models can be written in this form. Suppose it is different labels. So for the different labels, which labels are put is there, and then you have to corresponding to that one. These are the treatment effects. This mu is the combined effect. It is T1 is the first one, T2 is second one, and T3 is the third vector. So why it is the first one is always there? Because whatever the observation Yij you are getting, there is the effect of mu is there. When it is first one, means it is the effect of mu, it is the effect of the first treatment, and there is no effect. Okay, suppose this one is the mu is effect is there, you are using the third treatment, and then you are getting the results. So this one is this one, and these are the epsilon ij that is generated from the normal this one, and this epsilon is following the multivariate normal distribution with mean 0 sigma square into I. So I is the identity matrix. So this in the previous structure we are written epsilon is following the normal distribution with mean 0 and a certain variance. So corresponding to the univariate structure, we go to the multivariate structure. This is the multivariate normal distributions. Okay, now we are coming to the next portion. So there is a method of least square and method of maximum likelihood, and you just write down and you are getting the solution of this one. So what will the value of mu, what will the value of T1, what will the value of T2, what will be the value of T3? So we have to know this one. So corresponding to that one, we just write down this structure, and corresponding to this, these are the getting from the normal equation. For the calculation purpose, what we did, we just put it there and we just try to solve it. So once this x prime x is your previous x, corresponding x prime y is this one, and this one is the x prime x, that is the inverse from this matrix, and this beta hat is this one. So after solving, you are going to get this results. So if you are very good in the matrix or coding, you can use this method. Otherwise, don't worry, just use this command, and then just by using this command you will get this result. So whatever the results, see, when you are using your handwritten program or something, you are getting only those results for which you are writing the code. But if you are using the inbuilt commands, then you are getting a lot of things. Suppose I am interested only in this estimates, and then if I am interested only in this estimates, I have to write down this structure and calculate it. But if I am using this R command, when I use these R command, then what I am going to get? We are going to get this type of results. This is telling the what is the intercepts on average, what should be the value, and for the time T40, T45, and this one is the standard errors corresponding T value. These are the P values, and then residual of errors, and they are talking about the degree of freedom, multivariate R square, adjusted R squares, F statistics, all things having its own interpretation. But I am just talking about the only simple thing, that the degree of freedom. So most of the time we are talking about the degree of freedom. So degree of freedom is, what is the question? Sorry, what is the meaning of the degree of freedom? Suppose we are conducting the experiment with certain condition. How many observations can we select independently? Those number of observations are known as the degree of freedom. Suppose I am telling one thing. There is a class, there is a average marks of the student of that class is 79. Okay, and number of student is 10. So how many observations you can select independently? You can select first 9 observations independently, and because you are knowing that mean is 79, so your 10th observation will be automatically selected. So this is the basically what we are saying, that degree of freedom is the thing that how many observations you can select independently for your experiments. Okay, so these are the basic practical aspect of the things what we are doing. So now, second portion is that whatever we are doing, we write down the things. What is the mathematical justification of this one? How can we write down these things and we can do it? For that one, we are going to the next portion of the analysis of variance. Okay. And before going to the analysis of variance, then I will again illustrate what is the things or from where we are going to get there and what we did and we are not discussed. I think all of you studied last study about the t-test, f-test, z-test and equality of means, so things. When we are talking about the equality of means, if there is a two sample, yesterday you are studied that by the equality of means, paired sample t-test or something, you are in a position to compare the two populations just by selecting the two samples from the different populations, and you can check that it is coming from the same population or not. So there is one mean is there, another mean is from the second population, you can compare them. But question is arises, suppose there is a more than n populations, more than two populations. If we have more than two populations, three populations, four populations, so many populations are there. So how you can going to compare them? So for that one, we are going to develop a concept of analysis of variance. That concept is very useful, and we are going to use this analysis of variance concept to provide a mathematical structure for the design of the experiment. Okay, so as all of you discussed in the last classes that whenever you are defining the null hypothesis, you try to define the null hypothesis in a very simple way, and it should try to keep as simple as simple. So whenever you are start with any experiment, you are starting with the assumption that both populations are equal. So when both populations are equal, you are assuming that H0 is equal to mu1 is equal to mu2. So now what we are saying that we have a more than two populations. So we are, our null hypothesis is that mu1 is equal to mu2 is equal to mu3 is equal to mu4. Okay. So analysis of variance can be based on the test for the equality of the three or more population means. Data obtained from the observational or experimental studies can be used for the analysis. So basically this structure is our mathematical structure is what is the testing of hypothesis. Sorry. Basically it is a testing of hypothesis problem, but we are developing a thing for the more than two populations. So मैम ये आगे नहीं बढ़ रहा है. हेलो 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 मैम ये आगे नहीं बढ़ रहा है. हेलो हेलो ये आगे नहीं बढ़ रहा है. Hello, if anyone is there? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
ये आगे नहीं बढ़ रहा है यार. Anyone can help it? नेक्स्ट स्लाइड पे नहीं जा रहा है थोड़ा सा. अभी तक बहुत अच्छी तरह काम कर रहा था. अभी बहुत अच्छी तरह काम कर रहा था, एक बंद हो गया. हेलो, हेलो, हेलो.
Sir,
हाँ हेलो.
I think my system, you can see that I am trying to rotate the mouse, but nothing is happening. So I'm just stopping the sharing.
So क्या किया जाए?
बस 1 मिनट का टाइम दीजिए.
हाँ देख लो बेटा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, आप आराम से देख लो, मैं हूँ लाइन पे.
1 मिनट. Abhinav, I am sending you sir's PPT. Please share from slide number 37. Okay, Abhinav.
So now I'm just continuing with that slide. So now this concept of the analysis of variance is that, suppose if we are discussing the things, there is similar type of assumption, which assumptions we are using the CRD. So for the random error should be the normal, observations also should be independent. Suppose if we are using 4 populations and they are coming from the similar type of population, so their graph will be, most of the part is going to be overlap. There may be slight differences. If the populations are totally different, their mean will be apart from this one. So suppose two populations.
Now it is moving, sir.
Now it is moving, just 1 second. Wait.
38.
Okay, now it is okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so now. So our hypothesis is that mu1 is equal to mu2 is equal to mu3 is equal to mu3. And if we reject the hypothesis, means we cannot conclude that all the population means are the different. But we are saying that all the population means are not same. As it can be happened if I am going to reject this one, there may be possibility that mu2 may be equal to mu3 may be equal to mu k may be equal to mu1, and mu1 may be equal to mu7, but mu1 is equal to mu2 is equal to mu3 is equal to mu4 is equal to mu5 is equal to mu k is not equal. So whenever we are saying that all of them are not equal to each other, but in pair they may be. So when we go for the pairwise analysis, that is another sequence. For the pairwise system, you already have a pair t-test or something you can use for that one. And rejecting H0 means that at least 2 population having the different values. Means not all, but there may be at least one pair is there that is not having the same mean. Okay. So now we are coming to the assumptions. So basically this portion provides the mathematical structure. So the assumptions are should be very clear. For each population, the response or dependent variable is the normally distributed. First thing, your response should be normally distributed. The variance of the response variable denotes sigma square is the same for all of the populations. Okay, means your population variance should be known and that should be a constant. The observation must be independent. So whatever observations you are getting, that should be totally independent. Now, just one minute. Why this assumption is required? So one person is running the some experiment in the botany department and he's he's putting some fertilizers and talking about the growth of the roots of the particular plant. And then he collected the data and then we discussed the things. So then we just asked the sir, can you show me the experimental units? So when he showed us the experimental unit, there is this size of pot. And in this size of pots, he just grow almost 30 plants. So if you are growing 35 small plants in this size of, so the basic concept is that observation is the height of the root. And you are claiming that that should be independent. But when this size of pot is using so many plants, so then what happened? There is no independence is there. So this is violating the result. So whenever you conduct the experiment, try to follow this one. So most important is this one. For these two things, there is a lot of mathematical measures that can be used and that is going to help you. Now we are, for which point we are, I am talking about, suppose there is a population of y1, y2, y3, suppose. So there is sampling distribution of x bar given h0 is 2. If h0 is 2, so what happened? Your first mu1 having the same mean, mu2, mu3, mu4, mu5, everyone is having the same mean. When we are talking the accepting the hypothesis that mu1 is equal to mu2 is equal to mu3 is equal to mu k, it does not mean that x1 bar is equal to x2 bar is equal to x3 bar is equal to x4 bar. But situation is that whatever difference between these things, x1 bar and x2 bar, x2 bar and x4 bar, x3 bar and x1 bar, whatever difference is there, that difference is only due to the random reasons. There is no assignable reason is there. So there is whatever variation is there, that variation is due to only random causes. So in that case, we are accepting the hypothesis. So if we are accepting the hypothesis and these are our means, so our mean will be come to this type of the structures. If we are rejecting the hypothesis, then what will happen? If we are going to reject the hypothesis, if H0 is false, so your population mean will be this type and your corresponding population will be this one. Because why we are using the normal graph? Because we are put a condition that your response variable Yij should be normal, and then corresponding to the mu3, mu1, mu2, whatever you decided, if mu1 is not equal to mu2 is not equal to mu3, and this one. Suppose if this mu3 and mu2, if I put slightly closer, then what happened? Even then you are going to reject this one. But in that case, if you do the checking by the pair wise, you may find mu1 and mu3 are the same, but mu3 and mu2 are different, mu1 and mu2 are different. So these things are going to happen. So basically, when we are going to accept the H0, means our population are this type, and if we are going to reject the H0 or H0 is false, our populations are of this type. So these are the basically physical interpretation of thing. So in analysis of variance, what we are dealing? In analysis of variance, we are dealing with a treatment, between the treatments, estimates of the population variance, within the treatment estimates of the population variance, comparing the variance estimates, and then by using the F statistics, we make an ANOVA table. On the basis of that, we are going to take a decision. Now, question is that, suppose in analysis of variance, whatever you are getting Yij, there is some fixed effect, there is a variation, there is epsilon. So corresponding to that one, we have to find the variation within the treatments and between the treatments, and then we have to combine them, and by combining we are getting the variance of the estimate, and we define the F estimates, and we are using that F estimates to get our conclusion. So in the process, first we have to calculate mean square error due to the treatment. Okay, so mean square error due to the treatment. This is the formula, and this numerator is called the sum of the square due to the treatments, and denominator is the degree of the freedom associated with the sum of the squares due to the treatment. So when we are calculating this portion xi bar minus x bar bar. Xi bar is the basically, you are remember in the beginning I just calculated yi dot bar. So that is basically xi dot bar is there. That is the same thing, similar things. So for a particular treatment, what is the mean, and what here what I'm doing here, I'm just varying the treatments. For every treatment, mean is there, total mean is there, that variation is there. So we are trying to find the variation due to the treatment. So whenever there is an observation, some value should be there. But if we are calculating the variation for each observation from the mean, what should be there? So that variation is the total variation. So those total variation can be separated in some parts. Some part is coming variation due to treatments, variation due to error, and then after combination of that one is going to be combined with the total sum of squares due to the errors. Okay, now we are coming to the next portion. Next portion is within treatment estimation of the population, the estimates of the sigma square based on the variation of the sample observation within each sample is called the mean square error, and it is denoted by MSF, and it is a calculation. So here the denominator is a degree of freedom associated with sum of square due to the error, and numerator is called the sum of square due to the error. Okay, so now next portion we have to hurry up. So corresponding to that one, we are just taking that. Come back. First I show this. Sorry, no. Yeah. So first we are calculating this one, MSTR and MSC, and then mathematically this structure is going to follow a F distribution with this degree of freedoms. Okay, so if it is the following F distribution with certain degree of freedoms, so we will use theoretical values of this one to check that our calculated values of this one, and calculated values and tabulated values are compared, and then we take the decision according to that one. I think all of you are aware about the problem of testing of hypothesis. When we are discussing the testing of hypothesis, starting with the testing of hypothesis, three things are given. First thing, we are giving the null hypothesis. Another, we are giving the alternate hypothesis, and third, we are giving the level of significance. So level of significance is a predefined number which we are defined before conducting the experiment or before starting the calculation. So testing of hypothesis, alpha is the predefined number. So on the basis of that alpha, we are going to accept or reject, or on the basis of that alpha, we are going to define the theoretical value, from which theoretical value we have to compare our calculated value. So next point is the mean of the KBS population are not equal. The value of this will be inflated because of this quantity of this square, and hence we will reject the H0 if the resulting values of this one appears to the true large have been selected the random form of this one. So basically ये जब हम आगे टेबल में आएंगे तो then it will be clear. अभी ये फंसेगा. So now, so when we are talking about the F distribution is basically this type of distribution. Most of the time it is a positively skewed, and whenever we calculate this ratio, and corresponding to this ratio, there will be a theoretical value that F alpha, depending upon the alpha and degree of freedoms. See, this structure is going to depend upon the degree of freedom. What will be the value we are going to choose? That is going to depend upon the alpha. So we are calling it the F alpha, and then this is a practical value or calculated value from the data. If this value is greater than this value, we are going to reject the H0. So basically it is the portion that where we are going to reject the H0. So basically what is the problem testing of hypothesis. In testing of hypothesis, what we are doing, we are dividing the whole sample space into two parts. One part is the critical lesion and other part is the acceptance lesion. So when observations are coming from the critical lesion, we reject the H0, otherwise we accept the H0. So here critical lesion is this portion, greenish portion. So mathematically we are defining it is from this one. And when we use the F distribution, sometime it happens this quantity is coming from less than 1. Even in that case, you have to just calculate 1 upon this quantity. That is going to be also F distribution with different degree of freedom. And then you have to use the things and find your corresponding tabulated value. And then you use your corresponding calculated value for your taking the decisions. Okay. Now, okay, so it is a hypothesis. Your test statistics is this one for the analysis of variance. One way we are talking about here is only about the one way analysis of variance, and then we have to take the decision on the 2 ways, 2 points or 2 criteria, which these 2 criteria can be used to decide our results. So if we want to use these 2 criteria, one criteria is p-value approach and another criteria is critical value approach. Critical value approach, I already tell that you have to divide your theoretical population into 2 parts. Your observations are coming to a particular part. If it is coming from the critical lesion, you are going to reject the H0. Otherwise, you are going to accept the H0. Whenever you are accepting the H0, it does not mean your H0 is correct. It just you are saying that we cannot reject the H0. There is not a sufficient evidence that we have to reject the H0. So means there is not a sufficient evidence against the H0. So you are not rejecting it. Means you are accepting it. So this portion is coming from this one. Another is the p-value approach. Just one second. This is the So in statistics, the p-value is the probability of obtaining the result at least as extreme as the observed results in the statistical hypothesis test. Assume that the null hypothesis is the correct. So if your calculated p-value is less than your level of significance, what you have to reject the H0. Here they are saying that if calculated value is greater than tabulated value, you reject the H0. Okay, so these two are the method or the criteria used by the peoples to reject the H0. Okay, where the value of alpha is based on the F distribution with k minus 1 numerator degree of freedom and NT minus k is a denominator degree of freedom. Okay. Now, when you write down all the things, do the all calculation, you are getting this type of table. Just I show you this table. We are getting this type of table. So this table explains very simple thing. So this is the analysis of variance table. So analysis of variance table, there is a source. From which source your variation is coming. So this is the between the groups sum of squares you are calculating. So whatever variation is there, it is coming from due to groups. And this variation is coming from the within the groups. And this one is the last is the total. The sum of these two will be this one. So there is a total variation that can be split into 2 parts. One is this variation within the groups and another is a variation between the groups. These are the 2 tables and corresponding degree of freedoms, it depending upon the which type of size you are taking. And then when you divide this sum of square due to degree of freedom, you are getting mean squares, and then ratio of these two gives you the F ratio. This is the calculated value, and corresponding to this one, if you take the tabulated value for the level of alpha is equal to 0.1 or 0.05 or 0.01, you will get a theoretical value. If this value is greater than that theoretical value, you have to reject the H0. And here is the p-value. Corresponding p-value is very small, whatever the value of you are going to get this one. Alpha even alpha is equal to 0.1, alpha is equal to 0.05, alpha is equal to 0.01. Whatever you want to take, that is this quantity is less than to that one. So you are going to reject the H naught for this table. Okay.
अभी उनका फोन आया अभी, है ना? साहब का उनका असाइनमेंट तुमने फोन किया था क्या? हाँ, तो उनका फोन आया था, तो जो मेंटर हैं उस क्लास के, उनका जो असाइनमेंट है, तो उनके जो मेंटर असाइनमेंट, जैसे उस सब्जेक्ट को दूसरे टीचर भी पढ़ा रहे हैं ना, वही असाइनमेंट लेके और मेंटर को बोल दो अपनी क्लास में देके वो सबमिट वही करवा लें, तो वही नंबर चढ़ा दें मेंटर। ठीक है
सर? ओके।
अरे उसमें छोड़ दो, वो मेंटर सबमिट करा लेगा, ऐसा कोई कौन देख रहा है?
मैं एग्जांपल डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ।
May I request, sir? May I request everyone to mute?
मेंटर अपने पास सबमिट करा लेगा।
कौन है ये भाई? राजेंद्र सिंह कुशवाहा सर। Arvind, sorry sir. Abhinav, as soon as somebody finishes asking question, you are requested to please make attendee if I am not doing, because I am sharing the screen, so I am not able to do this at the moment.
May I have a question? Hello.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now can
Yes.
I continue?
Yes, Adil sir. Yes. बोलिए.
Yeah. Suppose अब मैं प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल्स की बात कर रहा हूँ कि सपोज
Arvind sir, 1 minute.
हाँ.
Dr. Adil is trying to ask something.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, sir.
Dr. Om Teraya has also raised his hand. If you want to ask something, then please ask, sir. If you have any question, then please ask. I can see your raised hand. Maybe he has forgotten.
अभी कई बार हो जाता है, हाथ पहुंच जाता है, क्वेश्चन नहीं होता है वो।
I am again going to the slide.
Hello.
Sir.
So
Yes,
I wanted to have regarding between groups and within. Could you please elaborate it more intuitively, like what is between group calculation is done, like in the previous slide?
ठीक, ऐसे I already discussed you that example of the bread. Okay, so there is one group that is baked for 35 minutes, another group is baked for the 40 minutes, another group is baked for the 45 minutes. When you see the all three groups, first groups for 35 minutes, all the observations are not same. They having some variation. They having different values. Second group having different values, and third group having different values. Suppose if I combined all 12 data and calculated the mean. So if I use all 12 data and calculated the mean, so I am expecting the whatever values coming from these 12 observations, that should be come from the each observations. Okay, so now suppose then there is one quantity is there is first group. So for first group there is 4 observations. So you just calculate the mean of that 4 observations for the group 1. So suppose first group is there 35 minutes, there is 4 observations, you calculated the mean. All observations are not the same. So you just try to calculate this variation from the mean, and then this is within the group. And when you calculated the mean of the first group, second group and third group, and this variation is from the total mean. So this variation is within the groups. Okay, so basically groups, whenever you are within the groups in a same group, whatever, when you repeat the observations, so whatever variation due to the same treatment, that is within the group. And when you come to the overall result of the one group, for this group 1 having this mean, group 2 having this mean, group 3 having this mean, group 4 having this mean, and this mean mu1, mu2, mu3, mu4, these are varying from the combined means. So this variation is also there. So this variation is mu1 mu2 variation between mu1 and mu2 from the mu bar is known as the variation within the between the groups. And when you calculating the variance from the x1 bar to the first treatment or corresponding to a particular treatment, then it is known as the within the groups. Okay, मैं ये आगे एग्जांपल्स में डिस्कस करूंगा तो ये और क्लियर हो जाएगा. सो ये एक एग्जांपल, हाँ ये एक एग्जांपल डिस्कस कर लेते हैं, देन बिल्कुल क्लियर हो जाएंगी. सी देखिए, the number of time each car went through the car wash before a wax. बेसिकली कार है, उन कार पे जो था 3 वैक्स कोटिंग की गई हैं और उनके जो होता है उसके वैक्स के हटने का एक पर्टिकुलर लेवल तक के डिटेरिएट होने का उन्होंने रीडिंग रिकॉर्ड की है और उसमें कितना टाइम लगा है उस पर चीज़ें उन्होंने आगे डिस्कस की है. उन्होंने कहा कि ऑल 3 टाइप्स के वैक्स यूज़ किए गए हैं, 5 टाइम रिपीट किए गए हैं, तो कभी 23 मिनट में, कभी 30 मिनट्स में, कभी 29, 28, 31. सो ये वैक्स 1 के लिए है रिपीटिशन, वैक्स 2 के लिए है, वैक्स 3 के लिए. सो ये जो मीन है, और देखिए ये क्या है, सैंपल मीन कितना है, ये है. तो इस सैंपल के करस्पॉन्डिंग जो वेरिएशन है, सैंपल वेरिएशन ये है. ये जो वेरिएशन आपको मिल रहा है दैट इज विद इन अ ग्रुप. और जब इसके इस मीन और इस मीन के बीच में जो वेरिएशन है दैट इज बिटवीन द ग्रुप्स. तो सैंपल मीन्स यू आर कैलकुलेटेड द सैंपल वेरिएंस, then you just go ahead. Now we are going to test mu1 is equal to mu2 is equal to mu3, and not all are of the same. So mu1 is equal to mu2 is equal to mu3 is equal to all 3 vexes are having the same type. Okay, then calculated the f ratio. P value is for this data set we calculated and find the p value is 0.42. If we are using 0.10, even then it is greater than that one, so we are going to accept the null hypothesis. For theoretical value f is equal to 2.18 and calculated value, and then by using this one you can see this one. This is the things, this is the theoretical value. Yeah, this is the theoretical value for given degree of freedom. Now see this one, this is the sum of squares, this is somewhat error sum of a square, this is total sum of a square, corresponding degree of freedoms, so corresponding means sum of squares, mean squares, errors, and then ratio of this one is this one, and then this value can be compared from the f values, and then this is the p values. So even if you want to use the p value structure, then on the basis of this one you are going to accept. If you are going for the f statistics value, critical reasons, even then theoretical value is 4.12, that is higher than the calculated value. So you are going to accept the H0 in both situations by following the both trends. So your conclusion is whatever the wax you are using in the first, second, and third, they are the same. Okay, now this one is. So can I stop here and I can take some questions?
Sure sir, sure.
मैं ये अभी यहाँ रोक रहा हूँ क्योंकि
हाँ बिल्कुल,
जो मेरा नेक्स्ट प्रेजेंटेशन है ना उसमें इसके जो बचे हुए हिस्से हैं वो मैं कवर कर लूंगा और जो आगे का हिस्सा वो कंप्लीट कर लूंगा.
ओके.
तो प्रैक्टिकल सेशन भी उसी सेशन में मैं कर लूंगा. प्रैक्टिकली जो डेटा एनालाइज कराना है उसी में करेंगे.
as you take it sir. So we come to the question answer session. Are there any questions? I think you have taken up questions in between, so that is why people are not having questions.
Okay, no problem. So we are resuming at 2:30.
Yeah. So we'll go for a break, 1 hour break, and we'll resume by 1:30. Thank you. 2:30. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for joining.